Autobots, roll out!
Hello and welcome to That's Just Prime, and today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Prime Cyberverse Optimus Maximus, and I love this toy. But before we get into this guy, I want to do an update on the Cyberverse Optimus Prime that we looked at last week. And this is kind of a part 2 to this figure, because this guy works as a battle station and mobile suit for Optimus. But I realized after I got done shooting the video that I forgot to show off his weapons. So after I got done editing and all of that, and then I finally realized that I wasn't about to go back and shoot on a whole nother video just for these guys. And I knew that I was going to be doing Optimus Maximus next, so I figured I'd just go ahead and show them to you now. So just taking a quick look at Optimus's weapons right there, you can see just a translucent version of what he had on the show, and he does come with 2 of them, so you can give him one in each arm, and you can also store these in truck mode. But there you go, just real quick. I didn't want to do an Optimus review here without showing his weapons. There you go. Now he can blow off your face. Now, moving on to Optimus Maximus here, like I just mentioned, Optimus Maximus here is a playset slash battle station for all your Cyberverse figures from the TF line Prime. And it also transforms, and it turns into what you could call a mobile suit for that Cyberverse Optimus Prime. Optimus Maximus here was released in 2012 and originally retailed for $30. Give or take, depending on where you got him. Here in Battle Station mode, he's approximately 10 inches long from the front to the back here, approximately 11 inches wide and about 8 inches tall. Now, this guy taunted that he could carry about 9 figures just out of the package. And he's got a whole bunch of places here where you can store figures. We're going to be taking a look at those here in a minute. Now, he does have wheels on the bottom here. You can see on the side, there's a lot of detail on this figure. And you can see on the side here, they have these tracks molded in. So you can actually roll him, and he rolls rather well. He's a very lightweight figure, or toy, or playset, whatever you want to call this. As you can see, a lot of this looks like framework. You can see through a lot of his parts. And if you pick him up, you can see right through him. So he's very lightweight, very easy for little kids to pick up and play with. There's a lot of molded in detail. You can see like some turban looking stuff in the back here, and lots of girders and just joints and all kinds of stuff grabbing on. Unfortunately, lacking in the paint department. A lot of this stuff could be easily just gone over with and painted and detailed, and it would look awesome. So another customizer's dream vehicle right here. Now we can, this, like I said, this does work as a vehicle for Optimus Prime, so we're going to go ahead and remove the weapons that I was just showing off. And Optimus can load up on the top right here. So what we need to do is we need to actually remove this weapon, which is just plugged into the front there. And there's some very cool lights and sounds gimmicks that we're going to be taking a look at here in a minute. But what you're going to want to do is just pop this guy open right down. And then if you look right in here, you're going to see a couple of handles. So this is going to be a little bit difficult to show off on camera. But what we're going to do is we're going to try and get Optimus sitting here. And then we're going to have to try and get him to hold those handles. And yeah, it's going to be a little difficult to show on camera. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And do my best to show it off. But if it doesn't show through, just trust me, it's happening. Let's see. I'll try and get him though. A lot of times it's easier to get him in there in his mobile suit mode, since he is standing up, and you can just kind of plug the arms in and then just kind of push him back and sit him in. Might be a little bit easier way of doing it, but I really did want to show him off here in the battle station mode, just kind of taking command of his mobile suit right there. So there it is, and this piece back here you can just. This piece back here is going to turn into the helmet later, so I kind of like to show it off like this. I think is the way they showed it in the packaging. This piece back here, let me show that off. This piece back here, you can just kind of flip it down and get it out of the way, but in the packaging they kind of showed it sitting back there with those blades slash guns just kind of pointing up and at an angle. So I kind of try to do that. So there you go. So there's Optimus sitting in his little command chair right there, and then you can go ahead and take this gun and place it right back there. Now we've got, come unplugged. Just make sure that you push it in all the way so that it is plugged in. So there you go. Now, there are a couple of different spots here, all kinds of different battle emplacements for these guys. So, like right over here, you can pop this guy open. We'll have to move our camera. And there is a kind of like a missile launching gimmick right here. Now, these two spots back here, these two battle stations up here, these work very well for your Cyberverse Commander figure, which were the bigger ones. You can use some of the Legion class figures up here, but they tend to be a little small. And what's going to happen is that they'll end up kind of like looking up, and like they almost look like they're reaching up at the handles. So the Cyberverse figures, the Commanders, they work really well. Now, Ultra Magnus, I like to try and get Ultra Magnus up here, since, you know, missiles and Ultra Magnus with his shoulder missiles and all that. But unfortunately, with his hands, they don't really grip those handles very well. So if you start moving them back and forth, that tends to happen, which is a real shame, because I think Ultra Magnus would have looked really cool up there. But since that didn't work, we'll go ahead and get Bulkhead up here. Bulkhead looks real nice. So we'll put him here, and he does grab these handles really, really well. In fact, he's a little too tight sometimes. I have trouble getting him up there, but there you go. And you can square him off right there, and now you've got Ultra Magnus manning your missiles up there, and you can shake this guy all over the place. He's not going anywhere. Now, as far as your missiles go, you got 3 pressure-loaded missiles right there, so all you got to do is just push in on these guys, and they're going to shoot off. Not a lot of pressure. The harder you do it, the harder they're going to launch, like that one that I just shot up and over the table. If you don't do it very hard, obviously they're not going to go very far. So there you go. Sadly, not spring-loaded, and not the best pressure missiles that I've seen. I have seen some pressure missiles that really go far. It's the pressure missile system can work well. This is just not a case where it does. Over on this side, I'm going to grab Ironhide, since he's another commander figure. And again, I tried Ultra Magnus on this side as well, and he wasn't really holding on. So we'll just go ahead and get Ironhide up here. And he grabs on very well also. And this side over here is kind of like just a cannon emplacement. So you've got this cannon right here, and all that's really happening is you can take the little platform right here and move it side to side, and you can see the cannon just kind of rotating side to side there. So you can scan for Decepticons and shoot them off, and there you go. So there you go. There's Ironhide and Bulkhead up there manning those stations. Now you've got these other placements right here at the feet, and then you got these would be the arms later, and these guys will work really well for your Cyberverse Legion figures, the smaller figures right here. And really, all that they're going to do is just kind of sit there. They don't really have anything to grab onto. They don't have anything to shoot at or anything like that. And they don't fit in there in their vehicle modes. So yeah, this is the whole thing where they can be held. Where the place had said it could hold like 9 figures. So this is how you do it. You just kind of load them up here, and if you wanted, you could like give them their weapons, and they could just be kind of riding along and shooting at Decepticons from that spot. Now there are 2 more spots where we can put some more figures, and we're going to show those off after the transformation. We do have some lights and sounds, so there are a couple of buttons right here at the top of these shoulders right here, and they make different sounds in the battle station mode, and they're going to make different sounds later when we transform into the mobile suit mode. So just checking out right here, we're going to start on this side. And you can hear that, and that's the same sound over and over. And then on this side, so that's going to be the same sound. Now that's a shooting sound there for the cannon, and you probably saw these 2 lights right here. What you didn't see is this light back here also lighting up. Actually, there you go. This side over here lights up this piece on the center here. And that was very difficult to see because of all the lights that I've got going here. So you can see the weapon here is all translucent, just like these Cyberverse figures tended to have. They all had a lot of these translucent weapons, and the whole idea was that when you shot this, it would light up this cannon. And it's difficult to see because of all the lighting. We'll give this a try like this and see if maybe we can. Yeah, it's still very difficult to see. We're not going to see it now with this lighting, but it does happen. As you saw, the chest piece here lights up, and then the light can be seen through this weapon. And the whole idea is that the weapon is lighting up and shooting. So there you go. There's Optimus Maximus in his battle station mode with a bunch of Autobots just riding on him, and I think this looks fantastic. It's just really, really cool. So let's get into the transformation. Transformation is very simple for this guy. We'll just go ahead and take these guys out. But what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to leave these guys up here since they do work. Or, you know what, we'll just go ahead and take them off. You can use these guys in the mobile suit mode. You can even leave them up here for the transformation. In fact, I'll do that. I'll take him off. I'll take Ironhide off. I'll leave Bulkhead in just so you can see it, just to demonstrate it. You're going to want to remove the cannon right here in the center. Now leave Optimus in. You want to leave him in there. He's in command. He is driving and controlling this whole suit. So you want to leave him in there. And there are going to be some more lights and sounds when we transform him. So very simple. We'll go ahead and take the feet right here and just straighten these guys up. And now we are probably going to get taller than the camera is. Let me get ready for this. When we stand him up right here at the hips, we're going to get some transformation sounds and some lights right there on the chest. And there you go. So as you can see, as you probably saw right there, you heard the, it's not quite the classic transformation sound. It was more of gears and levers and stuff like that just moving around, and almost sounded like some industrial elevators going. And you saw the chest lighting up right there. Continuing with the transformation, just go ahead and straighten out the arms. You can separate the legs. And at this point, you saw that Bulkhead stayed up there just fine, but he's not even in camera anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and remove him as well. And we're just going to concentrate on the mobile suit. And then finally, that headpiece that was in the back here, this guy is going to come up and over, straighten out these blades. And this guy's going to go right over Optimus right here. And check this out. Head reveal right there. Very, very cool. And I don't think I have him lined up quite right because he's not doing it. Let me try this. There you go. There's the whole face for Optimus Maximus, and I think he looks awesome. Here in the mobile suit mode, he's approximately 12 inches long, or tall rather, and I'm going to get in close so that you can see the face right here, because I really like the way that this face looks. And as you can see, the whole helmet piece here went over Optimus Prime figure that we've got sitting in the little control seat right there. Very much like the Energon style, where the head would come over, or the helmet that would come over Optimus's head. So there you go. So Optimus is still sitting there in his little control seat, controlling the whole mobile suit. Very, very cool. And as you saw, we had those lights and sounds from the transformation. We've got different lights and sounds now. In fact, well, before we get into that, let's do the articulation real quick. Nothing at the head, obviously. That's just the helmet sitting there. As you saw, we got just a little bit of movement here on the elbows, which was from the transformation. The legs can also move forward and backwards like that. But you're going to have the transformation sounds if you do that. Nothing at the knees. You do have a bit of a outward on the hips right here, so you can give him an 8 stance. And you have a little bit of a swivel at the feet right here as well, so you can tilt those guys out. So you can give them a little, just a ever so slightly bit of an 8 stance right there. Again, the weapons all work the same way. You've got the rotating cannon up here at the shoulder. You've got the firing missiles at the other shoulder. We've got different lights and sounds this time, so let's check those out again. So this time we've got some machine gun sounds, and all the lights went off this time, where before we only had the chest light. And then over on this side, it sounds more like a cannon. I think that's a missile firing, shooting off and exploding at the end there. So there you go. Now, we also talked about 2 more spots for Autobots to ride in, and that's going to be right here inside of his shins. So what you're going to do is you're going to open these guys up, and we're going to bring in Bumblebee and Smokescreen. And this time around, you are going to want to have them in vehicle mode. Now, you can, this will work with some of the commander size figures, but not all. I think I got Ironhide to work, but I don't think that Magnus and Bulkhead work for me. So what happens here now is that once you got your vehicles loaded, you can just bring these guys down. In fact, let's back them up a little bit so that we can see it. And then you can just bring these ramps down, and you can deploy your Autobots right there. There you go. So you can have a couple of figures riding along in vehicle mode, and then just deploy them. They go down the ramp, and it works okay. It's not the best working ramp gimmick that we've ever seen, but it works well enough, I guess. And then finally, we're going to bring in his rifle one more time, and you can plug this guy into his hand right there, and there you go. There's Optimus Maximus all transformed and armed up and ready to go stomp on some Decepticon faces. So there you go. Very cool little playset. I enjoy it a lot. It's simple. It's very simple. It's very lightweight. But it's a fun little figure, and I really enjoyed all the stuff that they did with the Cyberverse line in both Prime and for the movie line, where you had all these play sets and you had the little small robots and you can just set them up everywhere. You've got little clips all over the place on this guy. You can see clips here, here, up here. There are just all these little clips are everywhere, so you can take more weapons and just plug them on, and you can just keep making up your own just weapon on top of weapon, load them up and all of that. So it was a lot of fun and just opened up a lot of things to the imagination. So yeah, very fun figure. I enjoyed it a lot, and I think that is about going to do it for Transformers Prime Cyberverse Optimus Maximus. What did you think of this figure, and what would you like to see me review next? Let me know by leaving me a comment. Give me some thumbs up, subscribe, and share with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time on That's Just Prime.